We're going to look at simplifying fractions by factoring. In another lesson, I explain about factoring and equivalent fractions. Let's take, for example, the fraction 6/8. And in another lesson, I explained that we can simplify that by finding the largest number, which will divide both into 6 and into 8. And in this case, the largest number that divides into both of them is 2. And so we can simplify that fraction. 6 divided by 2 is 3, and 8 divided by 2 is 4. So 6/8 simplifies to 3/4. Another way that we could simplify that is by factoring the two numbers. 6 is the same thing as 2 times 3, and 8 is 2 times 2 times 2. Here we have a 2 in the numerator and a 2 in the denominator, and we know that 2 over 2 will equal 1. And so those factors create 1. And so on top we're left with 1 times 3, and on the bottom we're left with 1 times 2 times 2, which means that we have 3/4. Now, for an easy fraction, such as this, I'm not suggesting that we go to the trouble of factoring it to simplify it, but not all fractions are so easy to simplify. For example, let's say we had 30 over 42. Well, let's take the two numbers, 30, and we'll find its prime factors. Well, 2 will go into 30 15 times, and 3 will go into 15 5 times. So the prime factors of 30 are 2, 3, and 5. And let's do the same thing for 42. 2 will go into 42 21 times. 3 will go into 21 7 times. So the factors of 42 are 2, 3, and 7. And here we have 2 over 2, that's 1. 3 over 3, that's 1. And we're left with 5 over 7. And in fact, the simplest form for 30 over 42 would be 5 over 7. And we can do that in one step. Now, we could have still done this without factoring it, but factoring will always give you the simplest form in one step. Let's do another one where we'll use factoring to simplify the fraction. Let's do 42 over 140. So let's take the two numbers, 42, and find its prime factors. 2 goes into 42 21 times, and 3 goes into 21 7 times. We actually just did this number on the previous fraction, except on the previous fraction, 42 was in the denominator. Here we have it in the numerator. And this is 2 times 3 times 7. And what are the prime factors of 140? Well, 2 goes into 140 70 times. 2 goes into 70 35 times. And 5 goes into 35 7 times. So the factors of 140 are 2 times 2 times 5 times 7. 2 times 2 times 5 times 7. And so here we have a 2 over a 2, and we have a 7 over 7. And those, sometimes we say, they cancel out, although what they're really doing is they are changing into ones. And so on top we have 1 times 3 times 1. We're just left with 3. And on the bottom we have 1 times 2 times 5 times 1. And we're left actually with the 2 times 5, which is 10. So 42 over 140 is simplified into 3/10. And we can do that in one step by factoring.